about it. We'll get right into it. Welcome in, everybody. Appreciate you joining us. I'm Jeff. That's Tom, Director Matthew in the house. I'll get you my picks in a moment. I just, what's weird about this team, and I know you did some more deep diving, Tom, and I've been looking at them a lot too. This is a team I hate. It's a game I always want to win. I try to look at it from every angle when I care deeply, as in deeply, deeply, deeply about the results. But I also do that for games that I'm going to bet. And so I'm always looking, into some of the other numbers that could write the script. You're trying to write the script for people that don't bet. It's a useful exercise, even if you're not going to put any money on it. When you see a point spread, Vegas is telling you how they think the game's going to go. If you look at a total and then what the team is favored by, you can write the script. You can tell how this game is supposed to play out according to Las Vegas. Doesn't always go according to script. We understand that. You can get to a number a lot of different ways. But it's fun to work backwards from that total and then the spread and write the script in your mind if you're intimately knowledgeable about the two teams. It's an easier exercise. I don't cover the Mountain West Conference, but there's somebody who does. And when he sees those numbers that come out, he's writing those scripts in his head and betting according if he's a gambler. But we do cover the ACC, and we do cover Florida State, and we do watch Miami, either to root against them, laugh at them, bet for or against them, whatever it might be. And so when I come up with that number, when you see the Vegas number at 50, 51, depending on where you look, and you see Florida State favored by 14 and a half, that half matters greatly, by the way. Shop around. but when you do that, you start to write the script in your head. You start to think, all right, how do they think we're going to get there? And what I think is fascinating about Miami is in all of the games that they've stumbled in or have had close calls in, you kind of look back and you realize, man, and I don't care because I hate them, but you think if you dumbasses didn't turn the ball over, you could be a really good team. Like my instinct about that team coming into this season and my thoughts on what they were, and now in watching them, I don't think I'm wrong about them. I think they have some talent, and I think that they have, on the line of scrimmage, they have some real advantages. And I know you kind of like the crazy nature of their defensive coordinator, and he's the guy that came over from Marshall, and he blitzes and blitzes and blitzes and brings pressure, exotics, everything. They're always pressuring the quarterback, and you'll note they don't care who your quarterback is. He could be a first-round draft choice. He could be the second pick in the draft. He could be a bum. They're bringing pressure, or they want to.
Yeah, against Texas A&M, and that was Wegman. So that's not a guy who's going to go top 5 in the NFL draft.
No, he's not.
Right. Yeah. So they bring pressure nearly 58% of the time.
Yeah.
58% of dropbacks. Dominic Robinson, I talked to him off the air when we were recording earlier in the week. He said the NFL average for a blitz rate is about 30%.
That's correct.
So anytime you're in the mid 40s or upper 40s, you're doing some things. Like
you are aggressive.
Yeah. So this is nearly 58% of the time they're blitzing this kid. And when you watch the game, you feel that. You're like, dang, Miami. And this is week 2 of his first year as Miami's defensive coordinator. So this is how I'm introducing myself to the fan base if I'm Guidry, which is I am nuts. It is every play. Pretty much it was. So then you flash forward a month later, 6-7 games later, and they're playing North Carolina, and you say, all right, here's somebody who is going in the top 5 of the NFL draft. Are you going to play him differently? And the answer was no. They blitzed him 51% of the time.
Yeah. They don't care.
51% of the time. And I'll tell you what, it worked. When they failed against Drake May in North Carolina, it was against a normal rush, a 4-man rush, 3-man, whatever it was, simulated, whatever you want to call it. A non-blitz situation. He threw for 11-plus yards per attempt and 3 touchdowns. Against the blitz, he completed under 48% of his passes, and his yards per attempt number was only 5.1.
But I find all of this fascinating because Jordan so I think this game is a game of third downs. I look at this game as a game of third downs for both football teams. Now, a lot of people might say, well, whatever you do on third down is critical. Not always. I mean, you can win games going 2 for 15 from third down. I mean, you can. I mean, if you have explosive plays or whatever, you win on first down. Or
you go 3 for 4 on fourth, and they're 3 critical fourth downs.
Correct. Yeah. You can win. So it's not the old way of viewing football statistically. You can be bad on third down and win. It's not preferable. It's not ideal to be behind the chains, third and long, incessantly. Typically, that leads to problems. Jordan's very good on third down, very comfortable. Mike calls plays as if it's going to be all 4 downs that are utilized anywhere near the 50. That's the way he calls plays. So you might see, and I got to answer a question when we do Ask Me Anything after the show today. I'm going to get on there. Sorry, guys, I haven't gotten to it yet, but I'll do it today. There's a question on there I saw about how Mike calls a ton of second down runs on second and long. Well, it's because he's preparing to go for it. He doesn't care.
Essentially, it's first down in the old way.
Yeah, he's looking at that as I'll get 4 here and we'll be 3rd and 6, and then if I get 4 there, we're 4th and 2, and I'm going to go for it. So he just, that's the way he views it. It's just a different way to view football, but it's increasingly more common across college football to have very aggressive coaches who understand the math. Now, there are times where you throw the statistics out the window and go a little bit by feel, I think, but not every coach agrees with that. He'll always go by the numbers. So that's what's interesting. That said, Jordan Travis is very good on third downs.
And he's very good against the blitz.
And why do I bring that up? Because I don't think we're going to win first down running the ball a lot. So I think that there are going to be plenty of situations in which we're in third down and they're going to bring pressure. The two things that we just referenced, Miami, because it's who they are going to bring pressure. And Jordan, being who he has been this year, is going to be good on third down. And he's going to have an opportunity because somebody is going to be in single coverage. And that person, whoever that person is, has to make a play.
Yeah, remember, Jameis' first NFL start. It was against Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, we threw a pick six to start the game, yeah.
You're going against, what is it, like a Dick LeBeau defense, essentially?
That was exactly what it was.
And it's all multiple fronts. It's, are they staying? Are they blitzing? Right, are they bluffing?
Fire zone.
All that stuff, yeah. And it's much like, remember when Jimbo wanted his new defensive coordinator after Mark Stoops left to be Ellis Johnson, who was from South Carolina. Same thing. You're loading up the line of scrimmage. There's 7 dudes across from left to right for the tackles to consider. Quarterback's looking at it, and you go, all right, how are we going to block this up? Are they actually going to bring 7? Are they only going to bring 5 this time? Who's dropping out? Who's staying? All that kind of stuff. It puts consistent pressure on the quarterback, the blocking scheme, everybody to be on their P's and Q's, because on the chance that they do bring everybody and it's a zero blitz, which they might, then you've got to be on the same page with your receiver. And that's where the one-on-ones come into play. And that's where the health of our receivers
that's what we keep getting back to. Who will start this game? Who's going to play? Who's healthy enough to make a difference in this game? I think, again, I'm comfortable with Florida State winning this football game, but I think there are going to be some uneasy moments. I do think there are going to be some times where Miami will get some stops, and you got to be patient. It's the nature of this offense. We are a boom and bust offense. We are really big play reliant. We are not a team that typically puts together, a nice mix on a drive. Meaning you get 7 runs, 7 passes. You don't see that. You see big plays, big chunk plays that make up the bulk of a drive for Florida State.
You might see 7 runs, 7 passes, but 6 of the runs go for 1 yard. Yeah. The other one goes for 23.
23, yeah.
4 incompletions and 3 completions for 40 yards, and there's your touchdown.
Yeah, we're weird. We're a very weird team. Yeah. When you look at it statistically, what I do like though is, again, when we get behind the chains. And because our offensive line is inconsistent, we frequently are, Jordan makes plays. He makes plays. He has not a lesser player will turn the ball over a lot in those situations, and he just has it. Now, he's had turnover-worthy throws, several of them. If you follow that statistic, several of them. He's been very fortunate. Go all the way back to the LSU game. Mm-hmm. That should have been a pick 6 at the 10.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a ridiculous throw.
And that was on the heels of the pick after the sudden change.
Yeah.
So, it would have been 2 in the first half.
And he did throw the pick 6 against Duke, but he had a game, a throw against Wake that should have been picked because of a slip. But he's had several of those throws. And so you worry about that a little bit coming in. I know the numbers say he doesn't turn it over. He's had a lot of turnover-worthy throws early in games. It's very strange. He doesn't do it later.
The thing I've seen with his pocket presence is the longer the play goes, the worse it is. He doesn't feel it. If it's not that initial first rusher, like, for example, last week, there's a couple of situations where Pitt has 2 guys maybe from the blind side, not one. He sees the one, but not the second one.
Yeah.
And so he's rolling right, and you're like, hey, Jordan, get rid of the ball. Jordan, get rid of the ball. One of them's on the flea flicker.
I'm screaming it.
Yeah, just live to fight another down. That's Miami's bread and butter is overload. They like to pick a side of the field. Sometimes they'll do it right up the gut too. They're just going to bring more than you can block on a side of the field.
That's the scarier situation there,
which calls for getting rid of the ball quickly. And the good thing about Jordan is, like, you're seeing some of those moments where you say there's the weakness. But I'd say from the Syracuse game on, because we threw underneath a lot to throw over the top against Syracuse, from that game moving forward to present day, he's gotten the ball out of his hand a lot quicker, more routinely. He's had to last week against Pitt because we didn't have a whole lot in the way of receivers. So you needed screens and needed bubble screens and things like that. Even slants he threw last week. But that's what you're going to need against Miami. You're going to need to make decisions quickly because of the pressure that they bring.
There's a growing sense, if you flip it, and we talk a little bit about Miami here, there's a growing sense that they're going to start Tyler Van Dyke. That continues to peak the kind of the buzz down there. And I'll tell you something, Tom, I really hope they do.
They did it last year.
They did, and we saw what happened. But they don't think that the kid can handle it right now, meaning the freshman. And, honestly, it is hard to ask that kid to go do that. I mean, to come in here and having played as little as he has. So I think they feel like they would rather have a sort of beat-up Tyler Van Dyke, who's played, a really good half of football here at Doak before.
Yeah.
He had
half.
He had an elite half. He played outstandingly well. But it's an interesting situation they find themselves in. I think I would go with a healthy backup in this situation as opposed to the injury-riddled Tyler Van Dyke, but I think they're gonna start Tyler Van Dyke, and I feel good about that.
They still have Ja'Curry Brown, the kid they brought in last year.
That ragdoll, you can't put that kid out there. I mean,
Jamie Robinson's not here anymore. Maybe try your hand again.
Bitched. It was embarrassing. Everything about his play last year was humiliating. I don't know.
I'd play Emory too. You've already played Clemson. I grant you was at home, so that means it was a neutral site game. So he's played in one neutral site game against Clemson that happened to be in Miami Gardens, and they won that football game. He had 5 yards per attempt. They had to throw everything underneath, but they controlled the ball. They had it for 36, 37 minutes, and that was their path to victory. I think that's a better chance than Van Dyke giving us the ball 2 or 3 times. But by all means, let the kid start.
If he doesn't turn the ball over, they've got a chance to be in the game in the fourth quarter. Miami does. If he doesn't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
Because they can get stops against the run, and we make us one-dimensional. We've seen teams do that. And
an outside shot. Yeah.
I'm not picking Miami. I'm picking Florida State, and I'm picking us to cover. You'll see in a second when I give my picks. I picked Florida State to cover. But I think they could make it a game into the second half. I think we wear them down. I just don't think they have enough offense. I don't think they do enough on offense, and I don't think they're talented enough on offense to get into the mid-20s. If they get in the mid-20s, they're in the game. But I just don't know how they get there.
Ooh, yeah. Special teams, short fields. That's the way they
get
there.
They play good defense. They get a short field. Maybe, if you can create a turnover through pressure. Like if I look at it, I always do this. I look at it through the eyes of my enemy, right? So I would say, like in that situation, could you get Jordan to turn it over? Could you fluster him a little bit? Duke did. I mean, and Duke's really good on defense. And
first drive of the game, you've got May. If you're from Miami's perspective, you got May throwing a pick six. You just drop it because of the pressure.
Yeah.
Because of what happens is, it actually was a 4-man rush. He should have thrown the pick six, but they're all on a swivel because of all the pressures. They don't communicate properly, and the right guard and the right tackle don't communicate. You get a free release. We've seen that on our end this year.
Oh, yeah.
Where there's just somebody gets turned loose. So, yeah, it could happen, but a lot of things have to go right. That's why we're favored by a couple touchdowns.
That's exactly why. And Florida State is, I think, getting healthy at the right time, getting healthier. I feel like I feel pretty good about our situation from a health standpoint today.
Johnny and Keon are great checks against the blitz.
Oh,
they're great counter cards against the blitz. Yeah.
I'm still waiting on a firm sense of Keon's situation. I'm just
waiting
on that. Just waiting on that.
Huh?
Yeah, man. I feel pretty good. I feel real good about Johnny playing Saturday.
Somebody's listening who I was supposed to call before when I was on the road. Sorry, buddy. I'm going to give you a call.
Are you okay? Me mentioning Johnny Wilson's status is why that came up?
I'll tell you in the break, and it'll make sense.
Oh, that's kind of funny. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. The redemption wagers are in my hands. I'll get them to you next. Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Hi, Taco.
Hey, champ, how you doing? Pull up a pillow. Haven't seen you in a couple of days. Hey, something's different about you.
That's right. My people took me to Tally Spay, the affordable spay and neuter clinic on West Tennessee.
Tally Spay? Isn't that the place where they...
Yeah, they're a low-cost, high-volume spay-neuter clinic.
So you're saying you've had some work done?
I did. You'd think I'd be depressed, but truth is, I don't even miss them. If anything, I feel more calm. I don't feel like I have to run around looking for company, and my people can leave me alone with the couch cushions.
Hey, I can stop anytime I want.
Tally Spay, a low-cost, high-volume spay-neuter clinic open to the public, serving Tallahassee and the surrounding areas. Tally Spay. For more information and to schedule a same-day surgery and pickup, go to tallyspay.com. That's tallyspay.com.
Hello, I'm Dana Brooks.
And I'm Jimmy Basic.
Traffic cameras are everywhere, providing valuable evidence if you've been in an accident.
But if you can't access that evidence, it could just be your word against theirs.
Basic Brooks is partnered with RoadProof to have access to all their traffic camera footage. If you've been hurt in an accident, give us a call and we'll find out if the proof you need is out there.
Let us find your video evidence so you can come back stronger. Call us now at 850-777-7777.
Man, I just got a text from my wife. She wants me to cook dinner and then snuggle on the couch next to a roaring fire.
So what's the problem, Dave? You already got the new grill and you're a great cook.
I got one major problem. We don't have a fireplace.
Man, that's an easy fix. Just call Hearth and Patio. They got a lot of fireplaces that can help you for your romantic evenings. Wood, gas, electric, and a ton of different sizes, man. Call Hearth and Patio today, 850-727-4282, or visit them online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth and Patio. Ignite that spark in your life.
This is Jamie McClenny with Trek Financial in Tallahassee. While domestic equities closed down for the third consecutive month at the end of October, valuations remain near historic highs based on most historic metrics. Managing downside risk in your portfolio is one of the biggest challenges you will face in retirement. While you can't control performance, you can control the risk in your portfolio. Markets are going to do what markets are going to do, but a clearly defined risk management protocol can help to mitigate large drawdowns in your retirement nest egg. Valuations remain near historic highs based on most historic metrics. If you're concerned where this might be headed, give me a call at 850-900-5200 and schedule a time for a risk-focused portfolio review. Or you can visit us on our website at trektlh.com. That's trektlh.com.
Make Jamie your first call for that second opinion. Investment advisory services offered through Trek Financial, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
Ride, baby. Let's go. I've got like 10 bets on the app heading into the weekend.
So is it time for the rock hard locks of the weekend?
We're going to start doing that. We have to start doing that. That's a great. We'll have to get somebody to sponsor that.
Hard rock would be perfect, although they might even blush at that one.
So I wanted to bet the Tennessee-Missouri game, and I took Tennessee and gave the 1.5. I think Missouri's a little banged up, and I went on the app. I was at a red light on Monroe, and I was like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and make a pick here while we sit at the red light. And I pulled up my phone, and I pulled up the app, and I was thinking how awesome, what a wonderful world this is now that I can just.
Ooh, this is a long light, too. I'm glad I missed this one.
Yeah, I can just go through here, and here we go. And so I pulled it up, and I went to place a certain amount on Tennessee, and the app was like, hey, man, you're out of money. You've bet all your money already. Now, these are outstanding bets. They're not bets that have been solved.
Right.
I didn't lose the money, but I've placed the wagers on all of these games. So they were like, if you want to make this bet, we need to see the money, pal. You need to pony up. But this is where technology is amazing. I went, all right. And I clicked the deposit now, PayPal, padow. And I made the bet all before the light changed.
Which account? All right, let's see. College fund. Here.
This is the mortgage money. This is Price. This is Clark's college fund. I got longer to build that back up if I lose it. Then I mean,
again, Mizzou's banged up, so let's make a move
banged
here.
up. Let's make a play. Let's make a play. Wagers looking like this. We got one right off the bat. We got a game. Here we go. Thanks, Metro Deli. I don't see why not. Give me Louisville and lay the 20.5. Not 21.5, guys. No. 20.5. That's a key number.
That is tonight.
That is tonight. And it makes tonight's Louisville-Virginia game worth watching. Minus 20.5. Got me. Michigan, minus 4.5. I'm going to bet against Penn State if they ever play a good team. Always. Every good team they play, I'm betting against them. So I'll take Michigan minus 4.5. Alabama, minus 11 against Kentucky. I had a similar bet, if you'll recall, a few weeks back when I told you Georgia, who was fresh off a scare, and Kentucky, who was fresh off a kicking Florida's ass, had all the public money. And I went, no, Georgia's going to kill Kentucky. The worst thing Kentucky could have done was beat Florida soundly because now they have Georgia's attention. And Georgia beat Kentucky's ass.
Well, the worst thing that could happen to Kentucky here is that Alabama has a loss. They can't afford anymore, and they got to play style points the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Motivated.
Agreed. Alabama, minus 11 against Kentucky. I got Nebraska on the money line. I'm a little worried about this bet. I got it at plus 110 against Maryland. They're actually catching only 2, so that's why I took the money line. Why is Maryland favored? Does anybody have a good answer for this?
Isn't Nebraska banged up at quarterback?
They're banged up, but Maryland sucks. I'm not telling you Nebraska's good, but they need it, and they're at home. Give me Nebraska on the money line. I took Arkansas minus 2 against Auburn. There it is. He's turning it around. Oh, woo pig. Turning it around.
First SEC win of the year.
And it couldn't have been against a better bunch than the University of Florida, huh? How great was that? The heartbreak on the fans' faces in the swamp, this knowledge that they possessed as they watched Arkansas take the lead. They had to think Arkansas scored 3 points against Mississippi State. 3. Mississippi State is awful. Arkansas scored 3 points against them. They've scored 36 out here today against the mighty Gators. That'll hurt your feelings.
Maybe they should break out the black uniforms for our game later this month.
That was good. I'll take Georgia lay 10.5 against Ole Miss. I don't believe in Ole Miss. I don't believe in them. I'm taking Georgia to stomp Ole Miss. I think Georgia's elite. I do. I think they're elite. I suspect that they're going to prove it again in this game. I'll take Houston over Cincinnati. Houston's good at home. Cincinnati doesn't have a quarterback. I get to lay less than a field goal. Don't mind if I do. Minus 2.5. Took North Carolina over a really beat up Duke team.
That hook is important, though.
It is. I don't know how Duke gets stops here. I think North Carolina is going to end up running away with this game. Give me the mighty Noles, baby.
Hey.
Florida State minus 14 against Miami. I was happy to get rid of the hook there, right?
Ball's free.
Happy to get the cover. I mean, to get that hook removed there. Give me that minus 14 against Miami.
Ball's free.
We'll sweat it late, and then we'll cover. NC State minus 2.5 against Wake Forest. Don't like that Wake offense. Give me NC State.
It's interesting, though, because they've got to play a quarterback they do not want to play.
I know.
NC State's guy says, no, I'm shirting. We're done.
I'm betting the defense is what I'm betting.
6-3.
Yeah, I'm not betting NC State's offense because it sucks. But they're on a roll right now, and Dave Doran's a red ass, and he's going to want to win the game, and they play really good defense, and Wake doesn't have an offense, so they'll get short fields for whoever's playing quarterback, and they'll kick enough field goals to win 12-6, and I've got me a cover. So that's my logic. Give me NC State minus 2.5. I kind of like Boise laying 25. I kind of like about 6 or 7 other games that I didn't mention here. The Tennessee game is one of them, which I had to deposit money to bet, but I did.
You like the Boise game?
I kind of like the Boise game. Yeah.
You know who they're playing?
Yes, they are playing. Who is Boise playing?
Is it some obscure team?
Are you going to hit the siren? I had it up earlier, and I liked them to cover the 20.
South Dakota State?
It's 25. I know it's a big number. I got to double-check who it was. I forgot. I didn't put it in the card, so I forgot who they were playing. But I remember when I was going over the list, I went, kind of like Boise here. There's some over-unders that I like on my personal card that I didn't throw in
They're
here.
playing the Lobos.
Yeah, that's what it was. Okay. Yeah. Give me Boise. You can hit that siren. But I didn't put it on my official Redemption Thursday card. So let's see.
The siren was feeling lonely. It's Miami week. Sirens like Miami football anyway because they use a lot of them during their home games with their DJ.
You didn't think that Houston-Cincinnati was siren-worthy?
No.
That's too mainstream?
It's the Big 12.
It's too mainstream for you. Nebraska, Maryland. Yeah, you're right. I did kind of went all name teams this week, didn't I?
Yeah.
Well, not on my personal card. I have got a lot going on for this weekend. This is a fun weekend. Part of me wants to bet every single game.
Oh.
So here's what I'm thinking. Before the end of the year, I'm going to pick a Saturday. I don't have any left. And I'm going to bet I'll put something on every single game.
And then you should play a 20-team parlay for $1 and see if you can hit all of those plays.
Somebody I saw out in Vegas put 25 down on a 13-team parlay that he teased and did all kinds of crazy things. Won like $87,000.
Oh, my. All right.
It's a good day at the office, buddy. Man, hit that one, right?
That'll fetch you a mediocre linebacker out of the portal.
That would fetch my kid going to school and me paying for it. And there you go. Hey, how about them apples, right? I love it.
Different priorities.
Yeah.
Different priorities.
I can give to the battle's end more readily after I've made sure college is taken care of for the boys. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A single vehicle crash occurred Tuesday morning near the Tallahassee National Cemetery. The crash took place near the intersection of Appalachia Parkway and March Road. The accident occurred when a motorcycle struck a deer. The driver of the motorcycle succumbed to his injuries at the scene of the crash. Former Tallahassee attorney Philip Timothy Howard, 62 years old, was sentenced to 14 years after facing a racketeering charge. Howard's racketeering charge stemmed from his work between late 2015 and early 2018. The former attorney, along with employees and associates of his Tallahassee law firm, Howard and Associates PA, engaged in a criminal enterprise to defraud his clients of funds from an NFL class action lawsuit. More than $4 million was made through the racketeering from Howard and others that were involved. Howard pleaded guilty back in August. His 14-year prison sentence will be followed by 3 years of supervised release, as well as a requirement to pay a restitution of $12.64 million. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. High temperatures reach up to 80 this afternoon under mainly sunny skies, southerly winds around 5 miles per hour. Lows around 60 tonight. Highs level off around 83 tomorrow. Low 80s Saturday with a chance for scattered rain showers. Much cooler Sunday with highs in the upper 60s. Chance for showers continues. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 78.
Did you know metal roofs' survivability far exceeds that of traditional shingle roofs? It's time to consider a metal roof from Metal Roofing Sales of Tallahassee. We provide the best quality, least expensive material and accessories in the area, as well as material pickup and delivery. Our painted panels qualify for the City of Tallahassee's low-interest Energy Star loan program also. And don't forget about our veteran and law enforcement discount. Give Metal Roofing Sales a call today at 536-9123, 536-9123.
So everybody knows, Eddie, that you are a spectacular cook. Of course they know that. If they go into Bumpa's, the food is always good. I mean, everything on the menu. Everything at Gordo's is delicious. I always, of course, get the bungalow chungla, as I call it.
The Bonko Lechong, Jeff?
Is that what is the pork?
The Bonko Lechong, Jeff.
Okay, the bungalow chungla. It's delicious. All these things, all the items, everything you do, a master cook. But, sir, I would ask you, what is a skill that you possess that you're particularly proud of that nobody would know and that you could share with us here?
Growing hair, Jeff. Growing hair.
You're an asshole. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
There's not a single, and when you go back and look at the cards, usually it's like, I don't know, 60-40, 50-50 a lot of times. This week I'm like, nope. We're going with all the favorites. Well, actually there's one. I did take Nebraska on the money line. They're an underdog in the game. So that's not true. I did have one underdog.
You hit last week. Boston College tried to lose that football game. But that money line, how the hell are they, not
I hit
favored in this
Illinois
game?
on the money line too.
Yeah.
But BC looked terrible in that game.
That game was terrible.
They looked awful.
You talk about ACC going back to the, 2010s.
Let me tell you, the ACC, the rest of this league, and, unfortunately, outside of this league, nobody's done us any favors. LSU losing a third time kind of negates the importance of your win. Not the importance of the win for us, but what it means to others. It doesn't look great. Clemson has fallen on their face, obviously. It was nice that they beat Notre Dame.
7 losses between those two programs.
Yeah.
Tyler.
I know.
7 losses.
7 losses. You're going to need, this is where.
Could have done with 3 or 4 max between the two of them.
When these teams start losing games, like, look, man, I think Miami is better than their record indicates, but that's their record. And they lost to Georgia Tech because they wouldn't take a knee. And this is it's a disaster for them. Losing that NC State game, now you don't get any credit for beating a team that has some pretty good players.
Low-key value for the Bowls if they care to be there. ACC teams, a lot of public money going against the ACC.
It just angers you. You're like, okay, come on, guys. Don't fall on your face here. Give us a little something here.
They all do.
But Boston College did win the game. Ooh. And so that all of a sudden, that's the one team who we looked awful against. And we tried to lose that game despite having a big lead. And then we were knocked for that over and over and over again. And now you can, refute that a little bit, being like, you mean going to a bowl, Boston College? Is that what you're saying is an awful game? So you got a little help there, but that's about it.
No,
you need Louisville to keep winning.
Wake, Duke, and BC Syracuse on back-to-back nights was everything it has been for the bulk of their existence in this conference. Even though in September, it looked like most of those teams, most of them out of the 4, are decent football teams. Not last week. Good God, my eyes were bleeding. Ridiculous.
We're gonna need Louisville to continue to play well and get wins. Listen, I think they're one of the most well-coached teams in the conference. That was they've been dying to get Braun back. They did. It was the right hire. He's going to do a good job there. He's going to get whatever you can get out of Louisville. And, I actually also think that they're a worthy opponent in Charlotte. You're going to have to play well to win the game. You're not just going to go up there and stomp their ass. You have to play well. In fact, big picture here, I think Florida State has to play well in 3 more games before you get to a playoff. I think you have to play well Saturday to win. I think you're going to have to play well on the road against Florida. Florida is not a great football team. I'm not trying to argue that. But what I will say is that Florida does some things that could bother you. If you look at them, and it's kind of interesting, the Montrell Johnson Jr. Trevor Etienne combination has rushed for over 1,000 yards and 5.6 yards per carry. So they've been able to run the ball pretty well. We don't always shut down the run. So, my point would be you're going to have to go into the game and play well on the road against a rival who's probably playing just to ruin your season.
That's fair. I'd say if you're looking at both of those games and you're going to talk about the race, what's the higher number? Florida? You got to score more points in the race to beat Florida than you do this weekend?
Yes.
Okay. Is it significantly higher? What do you think it is this weekend?
Miami's offense has been broken. I don't trust their offense one bit. And if they're going to play Van Dyke, I think it's problematic. So the race this weekend for us is probably to 21, maybe 24.
Okay.
I would think the race would probably be a little bit higher than that against Florida. Well, we're 88th in rushing success rate. We don't run the ball all that well. We're kind of almost by definition when we walk on the field one-dimensional. That's who we are. Now
we're explosive in the run.
We are, but we're 56th in rushing success rate allowed. So we don't dominate the line of scrimmage against the run. We're good against it. We're just not elite.
They're good against the traditional run. Like these 2 rivalry games are good tests about how good are we really against the traditional run.
Yeah, I think they're a good defense, Tom. I think it's a good defense. They're not a great defense. There are some numbers that are going to be spectacular. We've played a bunch of hobbled, backup, sorry-ass quarterbacks just like last year, and we've been able to mount numbers. And in big picture, if you're making an argument, you'll pick and choose the numbers you like, and you would say, well, Florida State's good at this, this, and this. But we don't really know how good. And we found this out last year when we played Florida and Oklahoma in back-to-back games. All these statistics were trending in the right direction for Florida State defensively, and then we played Florida and Oklahoma and couldn't get stops. We're like, this is ridiculous. These 2 teams stink, and we couldn't get stops.
We've got much better depth in the defensive interior this year, even without Darrell Jackson. That's one thing we thought in the preseason, and it's been true. It's been true.
Yeah.
And hopefully Dennis Briggs gets back in the fold.
Got to get him back. He was playing well before he was out. So, yeah, I think we do. I'm not trying to disparage what we are. I think we're a good football team. I think we're a very good football team. I think we have elements of our football team that are exceptional. But I think we have other elements that are really, either untested or problematic. Where you kind of like,
That's fair. I think this is a year where most teams, in fact, no team can say they're elite across the board. There isn't one. Not this year. In years past, yeah. But every team that's up there, that's with us in the top 4, top 6,
well,
they have a flaw.
Yeah, probably. We don't know, and this is a problem with their schedule. We don't know if Michigan's flawed. I don't know. They haven't had to play anybody that could show it.
Yeah, the last real team they played was TCU.
I mean, they have beat the brakes off of everybody. I mean, now the best win they have is the win over Rutgers. It was UNLV. I mean, what does that tell you? So we don't know about Michigan. Now, I think you're going to find a little. So you're going to get an examination this weekend because I don't think Penn State is good enough to win on offense. But I think their defense is pretty good.
Right.
And so
if it's
they'll
20-10 or 21-10, that's good enough where you say,
yeah. Against a real defense, you might not be what we thought you were. The last 2 weeks, Michigan has not run the ball as well as they were earlier in the year. So if you're a Penn State fan, you cling to that and hope like hell you can make them one-dimensional.
Noon kickoff hurts them, though.
Yeah. Franklin needs to get a win over somebody who's any good. He's got to get a win at some point. I mean, go ahead and start now. I think the whole world's rooting against Michigan at this point. cheating asses. Everybody, and who likes Harbaugh? Nobody. I bet his parents hate him. I mean, he's a tough dude to like.
Yeah, his imaginary friends don't even like him.
He's nuts, and it's annoying, and the whole shtick is annoying. Remember him calling all the timeouts at the end of the Orange Bowl when we beat them?
You're damn right I do.
Ridiculous. That's who he is. And, so now listen, I don't ignore the fact that he's also won everywhere he's ever been. He's a good coach. He is. He's an annoying a-hole, but he's a good coach. I just don't know how good this Michigan team is. It's hard to kind of figure out.
Well, and how much are signals worth? That's the other thing. You could ask that question. It's a legitimate
It
question.
is,
to ask.
but
How
I
much
mean,
are they worth?
I doubt he was stealing signals at Stanford. You won at Stanford, for Christ's sakes. He won, the 49ers. I mean, you go on down the line.
He may have been. Who knows? But it does. What I'm saying is for the here and now with Michigan, this team.
Oh, yeah. No, you're
10
right.
points a game?
You don't know.
It's hard to because apparently they're very good at it. They had the system down pat because it's not easy.
No, it's not.
You got to play two chessboards at the same time, even if you're a defender on the field. Like if you're the linebacker calling in the signals, and then there's the second set of signals, which is this is what they're going to run beyond our call. You got to do two different things at once. That's a very difficult
But
ask.
at the end of the day, if I know what direction the play is going,
right? Yeah.
I mean, you're in trouble. We're going to have a good day. I know what I just need to know what direction the play is going.
That's the key thing. I kind of like Guidry. I really do. This week at his press conference, they're asking him about counter like 94 times.
Right.
And he's trying to be kind because we're not good at it this year. He's like, I get it, guys. I wasn't here last year. Okay.
Yeah.
They ran it last year.
They
That's
ran
last year's
counter
story.
over and over and over again against us. And oh, by the way, I'd like to say this, but I don't want to insult them. They don't run counter worth a damn this year.
No. And they said, what's the key to stop? He goes, well, we've played counter earlier this year. Like he's starting to lose his mind. He goes, I would love to know which way they're going to run it. Now that would help.
It's huge.
That would help.
It's huge. Anytime a team that, for whatever reason they have a tell, used to be you look at offensive linemen's knuckles. You can tell if it was a run or pass.
The depth of the guards.
Based on the pressure on their hands.
Usually you can see if a guard is going to pull based upon where he is relative to the hips of the other ones.
We've had some tells.
Yes.
And it's annoyed the hell out of me. I've wanted to bring this up, but it's like not my place. I've wanted to pull Mike aside and be like, you realize you got some tells, man. Let's get a grip here.
Well, we throw out of every one of those counter looks. So I think that's probably why.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep you honest there because I've got a bubble. And if you really want to oversell.
We can throw out every one of those. Yeah, that is absolutely true. It's just a fascinating deal to see what Michigan is. Every time I try to have any faith in Penn State,
what's interesting here is
Michigan, come on now, don't act like none of us are going to be, we're not going to be in shock when we're watching this game on Saturday. We're like, oh, looks like Michigan's up 21-0 in the second. You're not going to be like, oh, that's stunning.
No, I find this interesting. I agree with you, and this point has been well documented on this show before many others, most others in the country. And yet, it sounds like you're trying to summon hope in Penn State.
I want to because I want to believe in their defense. If you can get this into the second half and have it be close with all the stuff swirling around Michigan, come on, let's get into a weird place.
You're Gene Hackman in Tenenbaums right now. He can't do it. He can't beat Michigan. But if he could.
But if he could, man, it would be awesome to see. It would be something to behold. Because you would eliminate Michigan. Their schedule is so bad. They're done. It is over. A loss, and they are out of it. I don't care if they beat Ohio State by 100. It doesn't matter. They're out. Their schedule is so awful, they are automatically removed from contention. We're done here.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. You'd play Iowa in the Big Ten championship. Big whoop. 12-1 with a loss to Penn State. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're done. Get the hell out of here.
Strength of record. Let's see. It's not triple digits. It's triple letters.
Yeah.
ASS. There's your strength of record.
Well, with all that stuff swirling around, they're probably looking. I don't know. I can't read the committee, but you got to believe the committee's looking for a reason. Hell, let that be 21-20 over Penn State. Dropping them to 6.
Oh,
Get out of here.
Yes.
Get out of here.
You're done.
Nonsense. You get out of here.
Drop Pitt to 22.
I'm curious to see if at any point that game is within a score mid-third quarter. You get that situation. I do think the weight, the magnitude of what's happening with the controversy and the pressure to win, we're in a similar boat. I mean, I don't mean not the controversy, but any of these teams now that have everything in the world to play for, we're at the stage of the season now where you see the light at the end of the tunnel. You recognize it's not week 4. I mean, you're now at a place where you realize we have precious few games, and many of these teams have really nothing left to play for, the opponents. And so,
except to make their season and make their lives in a certain circumstance.
Right.
Yeah.
So all these coaches, some of them are coaching desperate. Think about how desperate Billy Napier is going to be. It is crazy to me. They had another situation. Now, this is where it doesn't matter if I think the X's and O's of Coach Napier are something that I would respect. It doesn't matter, okay? As a head coach right now, unequivocally, he's failing. The one area that he's succeeding is in recruiting right now, okay? But that goes away with more losses.
Yeah, you go 5-7.
Yeah, so he's recruiting well. So that's the one area he's succeeding. There is I don't care if it's Florida or anybody else. If it were here, we would be screaming it from the mountaintop, okay? They had a situation where they had 10 men on the field on special teams on the field goal block against Arkansas. I do not understand how you could be this far along in a season and continue to have 10 men on the field issues and special teams issues. I know they don't have a special teams coach, but somebody's in charge of it. And this is crazy. This happens every Saturday. And then he's indignant when he's asked about it. He doesn't understand why reporters continue to bring up like, hey, my man, we just had this conversation and you said it was going to get fixed. We're going into the 10th game of what is going on?
Yeah, and let's just say that they do arrive on that Saturday after Thanksgiving, and they're 5-6, which means they've lost 4 in a row.
They need that win to go to a bowl.
How much would they care at that point, though?
Well,
you would that would be a chin check again for another opponent, because their last win would be a fluke win over South Carolina. That was a fluke comeback. Given the situation that they were in, the points that they were down with,
they were down 10 with 4 minutes to play. I guess you could call it a fluke.
It's a double deflection catch to continue a drive.
But South Carolina's terrible, though. That's what South Carolina does. Yeah.
But my point would be, you're in an nearly insurmountable position at South Carolina, and you need some flukes to go your way to beat them, and that's the only reason you're 5-7, and you're not 4-8. That would be the talking point down there. I hate it for them if that's what happens.
Would you give me Florida in 14.5 this weekend against LSU?
I have to go with the imperfect knowledge of what LSU's quarterback situation is. Or
he's going to play. He was at practice this week.
I don't know. It's a good number.
It's a good number, isn't it?
It's about LSU's emotional state more than anything else. That's
exactly what it's about. It's a weird spot game, and it's a desperate spot. It's at LSU.
It's a 7:30 kick.
I mean, they'll be rabid.
That defense, though, 14 and a hook for that defense.
That's what I'm saying. I'm leaning Florida in that situation. If you're going to give me 14.5, I think I would have to take it. I don't know that I would like it. I'd hold my nose, but I think I would have to take it.
You're betting LSU's defensive ineptitude against Florida's will to compete. Interesting. Coming off of a loss to Arkansas.
Well,
interesting.
And where's LSU's state of mind coming off of a loss that really takes them out of everything?
If Daniels is playing, they'll rise up and play for him, though. I mean, people are still talking about him like he's going to win the Heisman.
Well, he can't. He's got 3 losses. So I don't care if the kid is the best quarterback in the country or not. You've lost 3 times.
Lamar did, and he had 3 or 4 losses. That's what they're going to hang their hat on.
Well,
I agree. There are other worthy candidates. The year Lamar won, there was nobody.
Well, and also Lamar that was a freak of nature.
This kid's numbers, though, in terms
I love
Jaden
Daniels' numbers.
His passing numbers are through the roof in terms of completion percentage, efficiency, all that stuff.
So the neighbor's kid beat the hell out of a teammate in the locker room.
Again?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
He's like legitimately a bad dude, I think.
Well, you never know what the kid said.
It's multiple times that he's beating teammates.
Maybe he's cleaning up the locker room one fight at a time.
Next up, it's you, 76. I'm coming for you, 76.
It's a culture flip, and I will flip it.
Come take this ass whipping this Wednesday, buddy. I'm rolling in here, fist flying. And after that, 54, I'm coming for you too.
That's got to be at least 5 or 6 fights now for them because they had at least 2 that were reported on in camp.
There's a part of me that thinks that this is Brian Kelly should win Coach of the Year. How the hell they compete every weekend? They're steady beating the bejesus out of one another after every practice. They hate each other. And they're out there playing their ass off the other night against Alabama. They were playing until he got hurt.
I don't know what the title was with my family. Was it our points per week or was it our fights for the year?
I mean, there'll be a special about this. Like, 6 years from now, let's say LSU wins a title under Kelly. He's going to be like, I remember that first couple of years. Woo, every day another ass kicking, huh?
Boys, we are family.
Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Step into the heart of Tallahassee at the Challenger Learning Center for Impact Week 2023, November 13th through the 17th, and experience our community's dynamic energy firsthand. With a lineup of workshops, panels, and professional speakers, you'll have opportunities to network, engage, and collaborate with industry experts, business owners, entrepreneurs, and there will even be free professional headshots and more. To learn more about the event, see a list of topics and talks, and to register for free, go to impactweek.info.
Services, call away. 222-7722. AC and electric is what we do. Service, repairs, and installation too. 222-7722. Parker Services. Conferences to call away.
Invest in a Peak Performance membership and you'll buy peace of mind in knowing that you're extending the life of your system and probably saving money on your power bill too. The program includes comprehensive tune-ups that keep your system running at its maximum efficiency. And Peak Performance members get many benefits, including priority service. Members jump to the front of the line when their comfort system fails. And a 15% discount on all parts. The Peak Performance membership pays for itself over and over again. Call today and have peace of mind. And now offering electrical services too.
Parker Services. Conferences to call away.
Florida license number CMC 050334.
I'm Robert, and I'm a general pest technician at Paul's Termite and Pest Control. I have a fantastic job working for an amazing company. Every day, I take great satisfaction in knowing the work I do helps protect the health of the customers I'm honored to serve and their pets too. Many are now my friends. Paul's is a local North Florida-based company, and they are constantly teaching all of us techs about the ever-changing needs of our unique part of the world.
I'm Jay, and having the privilege to work with people like Robert and all of our employees is truly an honor. There is no doubt that the staff of Paul's Termite and Pest Control is the best in our industry. All of our people are local, and local really does mean something. We're North Floridians. Our kids go to school here. We shop here. We build relationships here, and we honor our commitments. To all of our customers, thanks for trusting us to protect your family, pets, and home.
For the elimination of termites, any other pests, and a greener lawn too, call Paul's. We'll get them all.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. The latest betting odds and line movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
Orlando and Atlanta meet in Mexico City today. The Hawks are the 2.5-point favorite, total 233. College basketball, North Florida in action today. They are a 2.5-point dog at Charleston Southern, 149.5 the total. Nebraska laying 26 at home at Florida A&M. 139 and the hook, the total there. College football on Saturday. The Florida Gators are a 13.5-point road dog at LSU, 63.5 the total. Gators looking to win a 2-game slide. Florida State plays for their 16th consecutive victory. They're the 15-point favorite at home against Miami, the total 50. Get your free VSiN subscription right now at VSIN.com. For more sports betting news and information, go to VSIN.com. Mike Son at Real Talk 93.3.
At Simply Safe Home Security, your safety is the only thing that matters. That's why you get 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day, because every home deserves to be protected. Right now, get 45% off the whole home security system named the best of 2023 by U.S. News and World Report. Visit simplysafe.com/radio to save big today. Advanced Home Security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
There's no doubt that buying a home can feel overwhelming, especially if it's your first home. You're worried about location, school zones, square footage, inspections, insurance, loan approvals, interest rates, and of course the price. Buying a home could be the most significant investment you've ever made. But there's good news. You have our friends at Legendary Home Loans, and they're on your side and in your corner. They're going to go to bat for you. Shannon Young from Legendary Home Loans can help first-time home buyers get up to $25,000 for your down payment. For first responders, veterans, teachers, military, and healthcare workers. And that's not all. Shannon is an expert navigator of the home loan terrain, and you can trust that he's going to get you the most competitive interest rates and guide you through the process every step of the way. Plus, Shannon will also get your closing costs reduced. It's the Hometown Heroes program at Legendary Home Loans. Give them a call today, 844-FSU-LOAN. That's 844-FSU-LOAN. Or go to FSUHomeLoans.com and ask for Shannon Young.
NMLS number 2270146.
Orthopedic pain and injury deserves effective treatment options now, so you feel better fast. Whether you have joint pain that won't subside or an urgent orthopedic injury, we are the specialists to get you back on your feet. And there's only one thing better than fast care: expert care. We believe you deserve both. TOC, only experts. Learn more at teamtoc.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
If you're on the YouTube, yeah, that's where you are. Everything seems to go to YouTube these days. Everything. And that's good and bad. It's good and bad. It's bad because if you have so much of a whisper of a song in the background of your conversation, they're going to flag you. They're going to say, illegal. And then that's it. You're done. Unlike a podcast where you could, have songs played for the most part for a decent length of time. If we wanted to sample songs, we pretty much could. Somebody would probably tell on us, and then we'd get in trouble with the podcast
I don't know
police.
what you're talking about. I have no idea.
Do you feel confident? I haven't asked you all week.
Yeah, I think this...
Not on the air, anyhow.
I think this follows the script of a lot of the games after the bye week. They're not carbon copies, but they're close in terms of what is coming to town when the offense is on the field, when the defense is on the field. And when our defense is on the field, since the bye week, there is not a good offense on the other side of the field. And that includes Duke with Leonard. They are not a 35-point offense with that kid anyway.
No, they're not.
So it's about the defense setting the tone, reminding the opposing offense why they're terrible. And then whatever hodgepodge of guys we have on the offensive side, either on the line or at the skill positions for that given week, give them time to get into a groove, and then you'll put them away in the second half. I think this follows that form.
Look at the amount of 5-star athletes that are going to be in town for this Florida State-Miami game. What an opportunity. If there's any question about, how badly Mike would maybe run this score up if given the opportunity, think about that angle. Jeremiah Smith will be here.
Yep.
He's the number 1 prospect at the wide receiver position, currently a commit to Ohio State. You have wide receiver Cam Coleman. He's a Texas A&M commit. I would like to think you could easily sway him. Texas A&M's offense isn't any good. The program in disarray. 2025 wide receiver, 5-star, who's currently an Alabama commit. Another wide receiver, Jaime French.
I think it's Jamie.
Yeah.
2 Fs, too.
It's a weird name to see. Yeah, it is.
You want to fix it,
I
like
do.
as an editor. Every time I see it, I've done some recruiting edits for us. I'm
You're like, oh, this is wrong.
Are we sure about that? And then I look up his profile, and there it is, double F.
The kid that I convinced to commit to Florida State and reclassify is going to be here. Armando Blunt will be here. You're welcome for that, everybody. I already got him. We're secure with him. Secure. Brought him from Miami, flipped it, reclassified. Zayden Walker. I'm talking to you, Zayden Walker. You're a 2025 linebacker. You're elite, and you will commit to Florida State Saturday when the clock strikes 0. We need linebackers. You fit the bill at 230 pounds, being recruited by Georgia, Florida, Alabama, and us. Come on, kid.
230. Sounds like he could reclassify. That'd be great.
That's a monster. Let's get on in here, Zayden. Look at the party in Tallahassee. Good times, good people. I bet there's a deal that can be made for you once you've committed to Florida State. Battles Inn is an elite organization that finds opportunities for talented young men such as yourself.
Perhaps a platter of Zaxby's chicken fingers could make this more interesting.
And there's one of 137 locations in town for you to choose from.
They'll build one in the common room of your dorm.
Forget about it. You're eating platters every day if you want from our friends at Zaxby's. 18 plus years as a Golden Chief booster, serving delicious food. Zayden, the time is now.
It's got the right letter to start his first name.
That is correct. Charles Lester, who's already an FSU commit at defensive back, will be here as well. KJ Bolden, the kid we stole from Georgia, told him to suck it. He'll be here as well this weekend, a commit. And defensive back DJ Pickett. Now, I would like, if it were possible, to have 16 more linebackers in attendance for this game. 16. Okay, maybe 15. But we don't currently. So let's get on that. I don't know if it's Michael Langston's job to inform these kids that there's a game Saturday they should be at. But, Michael, if you're listening, let's get off our ass and get these kids in here. Let's get these linebackers rolling on over to the sideline. You know and I know we need them. Desperately need them. So this is a fun weekend. There's a ton of guys. I mean, there are a lot of guys. He wrote a piece. Go to warchant.com. You can read it. A lot of players on their way to Tallahassee for Florida State Miami. And we talked yesterday on the show. You always want to bury your rivals, but you really want to bury them if they're in the middle of recruiting pretty well with a young coach or a new coach. And they are. They're recruiting pretty well. A win over Florida State might boost up that recruiting a little bit. So you don't want to give them any reason to believe at all. So a lot of these kids are from South Florida, so they're kind of inclined to want Miami to be good. Let's remind them that they haven't been for 20 years, and they're still not. So sorry. It's a good time in your life to learn that many of your dreams are going to be shattered. Miami may never matter again, young man. Why would you want to have to go down there and go through the process of losing the way the last 20 years worth of Miami teams have lost? Why would you do that?
Shattered dreams. Great finishing move in wrestling history by Gold Dust. That's what we're going to do. Shatter their dreams.
We're co-opting Gold Dust's finishing move, are we?
Well, if you knew what it looked like, you would be 100% on board.
Yeah. So, again, you've got 5 stars flocking to Tallahassee. That's a really good thing. And let's hold on tight and hope we get some commits this weekend after drubbing Miami. And then you got an opportunity at the end of the year going down to Gainesville, showcasing the distance between those two programs as well. Let's roll Big River. I don't often talk about recruiting. I just know, obviously, like you all do, how important it is. And I do know that for the most part, we as fans overrate what a singular game result means to a recruit, to a kid. But I think there are exceptions. We've seen kids be on the sidelines for games in which Florida State manhandled Miami right before their eyes just a year ago, 45-3, and had kids think, maybe not. Maybe I'm not going to Miami. They don't always say yes to Florida State, but they say no to Miami in that situation. And the more of that we can accomplish, the better.
Well, you combine that with the atmosphere. Like last year, the best part was that you delivered that beatdown, and all they could hear in that stadium was the Warchant, for it is Seminole Hard Rock Stadium down there. And they couldn't feel the atmosphere of Miami fans because after the middle of the first quarter, they were gone.
They were gone. That's correct, yes.
But
that you can committing crime.
That you can have as you're in the third and fourth quarter of this weekend's game. The sun is already set. It's essentially a night half of football.
It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be ideal, man.
Weather's great.
Loud.
Yep, and then when the game is done, it's not the middle of the night where you got to go check into the hotel because you're leaving in the morning. That's the one benefit to the 3:30 kick is you wrap up around 7:30, 8 o'clock. By the time Mike Norvell breaks down the locker room, they record their little cinematic recap, address to the team. He talks to the media. You still have a good 3-4 hours to interact with these players one-on-one, and their ears will be ringing with the sound of Doak Campbell Stadium, assuming we do what we are supposed to do.
This is a game that when you take control of a Miami game, a Florida State Miami game, there's a level of satisfaction in your fandom that you really don't experience in any other way, save for maybe when you do it against Florida. It's different. Like when we seized control of the LSU game in the second half, it felt really good. It felt like a big game. There was a huge atmosphere. We knew the nation was watching. We knew how important it was to get that win, have it in our back pocket, the build up to that game all summer. We were over in Orlando early. We did the pregame show. It was awesome out there with all the folks that were walking around. We had a large audience. We had the meet and greet the day before. That was a lot of fun. So the moment meant a lot, but nothing approaches that feeling of gaining control of a football game against a team that you absolutely hate. But moreover, more than your personal feelings about that program, what it could mean in recruiting. And that's why I bring it up in this opening segment of the second hour. Like, this is a big-ass weekend to kind of confirm suspicions here about the direction of these two programs.
Yeah, and it's confirming a trend if you could take care this month in the situation of these two teams. Because if Miami rolled into town undefeated and we were undefeated, and it's a classic game when they lose, the recruits aren't going to jump ship because it would be their first loss of the season. It's on the road, no big deal. Yeah. I'm the difference. That's the pitch that Mario would get. You're the difference. We are right there. Look at how far we've come. But now Miami is staring 7-5 in the face, perhaps, maybe 6-6 if all goes wrong and they start to quit, as they typically do in November.
When we beat them, they often quit.
That would confirm the trend. Same thing down in Florida. If they continue to stumble and they have to beat us for the right to go to a bowl, it's not that they were 9-2 and now they're 9-3. Look how far we've come. They're 5-7 after we beat them. If these two things play out the way that we hope they do, you're confirming something greater. not beating them in a one-off, and they're this close, and they're this close.
Right.
So it's a much bigger message to deliver to recruits than just a one-off. It's a trend.
Richard writes, in the past, I have felt that we could get beat by a surprisingly weaker team like Miami, but it just seems that the consistency Norvell has implemented is too good for that to happen. Am I crazy? No, I think you're right to note the consistency with which Florida State plays and the consistency of message from Norvell and staff. I think he's a very, very good motivator. I think he is a checks all the boxes kind of guy in terms of preparation. But I would say you're not wrong to think that Miami, if you don't play well, could beat you. They could. They are capable. There are some teams on our schedule that are simply not capable of beating you, even if you played poorly. They're just not. They don't have the athletes to go and make plays consistently, even if you play poorly. And you're in the wrong gap. Okay, well, some teams on this schedule, you're in the wrong gap, it's a 1st and 10. Some teams on this schedule, you're in the wrong gap, it's a touchdown. And Miami is one of the teams that if you're in the wrong gap, these running backs are good. And they can go to the house. Now, you could give up huge chunks of yardage, if not a house call, if you play poorly and you miss an assignment or you get juked in the open field or something like that. I mean, like that can happen.
They got like 4 of them that can do that.
They do. So they're not devoid of playmakers. Some teams we've played are devoid of playmakers. They just don't. Duke doesn't have it on offense. They don't have playmakers on offense.
We were in the wrong gap and we got held. And
there were all kinds of opportunities for Duke to put up a bigger number, but they didn't. They really haven't all year long. They've struggled to score points because they don't have playmakers. They got a good quarterback, but he's hurt. So, that's your situation. They're good defense. They want to run the ball. They want to bludgeon you. They want to shorten the game. But they don't have the guys that when you make a mistake are going to the house. But Miami does. And Florida does too. Etienne's good, really good. He's not his brother good, but he's good. And so you're going to have to play well, and you're going to have to play smart, and you're going to have to be physical. I don't think that they'll show up ill-prepared. I don't think they're going to be obviously, they're not going to. It's a rivalry game. It's Miami. It's this game. I mean, this is it. And Mike, one of the things I love about Mike, we say it all the time, but it bears repeating because of Richard's question. Mike views rivalry games set apart from other games. He doesn't pretend that they're just another game. He pulls them aside, sets them apart, holds them up high, and says, this game means more than that game. And he's not wrong, and I love it because, for years, coaches love to tell you nonsense about it's just another game. We got to worry about us and prepare the way that we've always prepared. And, I get that for the fans, it's a lot of fun. And for the fans, the vitriol is real. And I get the tradition of this game, but for us, it's just about preparation and making sure that we're doing what we're – no, Mike doesn't do that. Of course those things are true. It's always about executing at a high level. It's always about being prepared, understanding your assignments. That's true of every football game, but you can put certain games are much more important in terms of the result of that game has a greater impact on the long-term health of your program. And this is one of them.
The fewest points. It matters where it takes place, too. Like, I get it. Last year's game was at a neutral site down there. We never play a road game, really. They're mostly neutral sites. But that it's home. This season, the lowest offensive point total that we put together at home is what? What do you think if you're going to guess off the top of your head?
Oh, for us at home?
Yep.
Well, if I quickly went through the games, I would remember. But the lowest point total at home is
Duke.
Oh, yeah. So 31.
38.
Was that 38?
Yeah, we got
That's right. We got that. Yeah.
And we could have kept going. If there was another quarter, we might have scored 60.
Yeah.
38 points is the fewest we put together at home this season. And that matters because in that game, you're trailing after 3 quarters.
Yeah, you're trailing in the fourth quarter,
21 points in the fourth quarter of that game. It's 20-17 after 3. It's just something about that game has given me a different level of confidence at Doak. Maybe it's like how you felt in the old days, 14 straight years of being in the top 4 for a brief moment there for 29 straight. But even 2014, part of that 29 straight, we played close games at home just the same.
Yeah.
So I haven't had this invincibility feeling at Doak, and I'm not going to go quite that far because that's how you jinx things. But we're down 20-17, and the way the game had played out entering the fourth quarter, I felt okay. I was like, we're going to be all right.
Oh, well, yeah.
We may win by 4, but we could also run away with this thing. Like, we're going to be okay.
I thought Duke looked gassed. That long drive against Duke changed everything.
And just the building, you could feel it. There's a little something to it. And the extra juice that it gives you, man, it makes all the difference.
Yeah.
For college kids. And you've got North Alabama next week. Like, just everything about airing it out.
Air it out. 38 against Duke, 41 against Syracuse, 39 against Virginia Tech, 66 against Southern Miss, your score totals for the season at Doak Campbell Stadium. Last week, obviously, we didn't get there on the road against Pitt in a 24-7 win, but I always, for gambling purposes or any other, take Florida State over 30 points. Mike can roll out of bed and score 30 points on most people.
It chose not to last week.
Well,
in two ways.
He could have scored at the end of the game, obviously, and gotten into the 30s. He chose to be a class act. And then also, the other reason he didn't score 30 was the entire wide receiver core was absent.
So we got a chance to break that barrier early in the fourth. He's like, hey, you know what? We haven't run that flea flicker. I'll bet that'll work.
I don't know why he did that.
Can you be setting something up with a failed trick play before the game? Like, if we run some variety of the flea flicker that's not the flea flicker,
and then hit it,
you're going to say, well
how about that? Mike was setting it up. He had to show it to Miami.
He wanted to fail on purpose.
Well, let me tell you something. I don't know that he wanted to fail on purpose, but he wasn't worried if he did.
Right.
I will say this. I wouldn't put it past Mike. Mike sets up games in advance. I've seen plays come back around where you're like, oh, he ran that 3 weeks ago and then put this wrinkle in. This is sweet. I mean, he's done that a lot of times. A lot of the stuff with the tight ends.
Yeah. They still haven't run one particular thing with the tight end from camp.
I know. I know what you're talking about. There's 2 plays that I keep waiting for him to run that I saw in camp that I'm like, come on now, let's break it out. He hasn't felt the need. He may break it out in the playoffs.
Is it the Philly special? Last year, how many times do you think they ran that play in camp? The Knowles special.
Yeah.
Like 20?
Yeah, at least. I was going to say 15, yeah.
By the 10th time, the defense is just waiting.
They're like, come on.
They're going to a landmark of where
we know exactly where it's going to be. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Hi, Taco.
Hey, champ. How you doing? Pull up a pillow. Haven't seen you in a couple of days. Hey, something's different about you.
That's right. My people took me to Tally Spay, the affordable spay and neuter clinic on West Tennessee.
Tally Spay? Isn't that the place where they...
Yeah, they're a low-cost, high-volume spay-neuter clinic.
So you're saying you've had some work done?
I did. You'd think I'd be depressed, but truth is, I don't even miss them. All I know is my family is much happier now that I've been altered. My people even brought Mr. Jingles to Tally Spay.
Tally Spay, a low-cost, high-volume spay-neuter clinic open to the public, serving Tallahassee and the surrounding areas. How you feeling, Mr. Jingles? Ugh, you're right. It is a lot nicer. Go to tallyspay.com. That's tallyspay.com.
Whidden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Whidden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Whidden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Whidden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Whidden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
See Nice Tire and Auto Service at 4792 Bluntstown Highway today. The ASC trained technicians at Nice take the guesswork out of fixing your car. That's why wherever you see the Goodyear sign, you'll find what you want in tires and service. From preventative maintenance to a major overhaul and everything in between, you name it. Plus, Nice's services are backed by a nationwide limited warranty. Stop by Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
The leaves are starting to fall. The temperatures will start to fall, and the prices are falling right now at Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas. Incredible dealer discounts up to $5,000 are available on all hot spring spas, the industry leader in hot tubs and spas. If you've never experienced the sensation and relaxation of having your own hot tub in your backyard on a cool evening, you're truly missing out. The cold months are coming, and now's the time to set yourself up for the best winter season you've ever had. Plus, you'll gain the added health benefits of reduced stress, relief of sore muscles, and better sleep. You'll feel so relaxed after a nice soak in your new hot spring spa. You'll experience some of the best sleep of your life. Head over to Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas on Greer Road and check out their huge showroom packed with the best selection of hot tubs and spas available. And ask about getting up to $5,000 in discount, low interest financing, and a free accessory to make your hot tub dreams come true. If you're ready to relax, Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas is ready to show you how.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Cameron Show brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
On those picks again, somebody just asked, so there they are. They'll pop them up on the screen for you. Wagers look like that. Louisville minus 20.5, Michigan minus 4.5, Alabama minus 11, Nebraska on the money line, Arkansas minus 2, Georgia minus 10.5, Houston minus 2.5, UNC minus 14.5, our beloved Noles minus 14, and NC State minus 2.5. So good times. Hopefully we win every one of those picks. 10-0.
10-way parlay. Come on now. 2 bones. Just put $2 on it.
I need to go back to some player props. I was 1-1 the last time I did player props on the show, I think, or 1-2, maybe 1-2. I think I had a losing record. Second time this year. Had a stretch of 9 straight weeks with successful player props. That I've never done that before.
You don't know the numbers, so it's impossible to take a look at it and offer a blind wager. But if you were going to play a Florida State offensive player this weekend, if you're going to look for a total, tell the story of the game, you know how that goes. What player are you looking at first? What category are you looking at?
Jordan Travis, and I'm looking at passing yardage.
Passing yardage?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jordan Travis, and I'm looking at passing yardage. I think Jordan's got to have a good game here. This is another Jordan game. He just changes everything that we are when he's playing well. He converts on third down. He can hurt you with his legs. I'd be very interested. I have not seen. I just pulled up Prize Picks here.
I'm gonna guess 267.5.
Wow.
I nailed it last week.
You did. You got it right on the nose. I pulled up Prize Picks just now to see what they have his total at, and they don't have him. They don't have him right now for. Oh, okay. Here we go. Let me find just passing touchdowns. No, I need passing yardage. Damn it. Let's have a little fun with this. How about pass plus rush yards? Let's see if they have Jordan Travis there.
Because if they don't have the pass yards, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, they don't have the pass yards, buddy.
I might be able to find it on DraftKings.
Yeah, you can look at DraftKings. But anyhow, you could always figure out the way they think the game is going to go by looking at one of our receivers. Let's see if they have one of our receivers here. In the
my guess would be no. This might all be related because they don't know the status of the receivers. They might turn Jordan off.
They've turned off. We have no receivers in this week's Prize Picks right now either, so they don't know the status of these guys.
Would have been nice to see Keon Coleman 84.5 there, because then you know that they think very confidently that Keon would play.
It would be awesome to see that. I am waiting for that moment, buddy. I'm just that's the first thing we're all going to do, right? When we get to the game, you're going to say, all right, who's warming up? Now, we'll be at Hotel Indigo, and we will probably hear from our guys in the stadium before we ever make our way over to the stadium because we'll be on the roof at the Hotel Indigo. The pregame show begins at 12:30. Kickoff, obviously, 3:30. Swing on by. Have some fun with us. There's food. There's drinks. It's as good a view of the proceedings as you're going to have. A lot of fun. Pregame, 12:30, Hotel Indigo. And then, obviously, we'll have the postgame with Tom and Gene. And that goes 10 to 15 minutes following the game. Robert writes, I was watching clips of Miami at NC State. How would you compare our defense compared to the Wolfpacks? We're close, but how about the eye test? I like NC State's defense quite a bit. Woo! I think they have better linebacker play. But I think NC State, they live and die with their defense. But it's fairly comparable.
Yeah, in terms of the totals, yes. NC State has a lot more three-man fronts, and they do a lot more mixed stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're talking about...
he's not talking scheme. I think he's just talking about what do we think of our overall...
Okay. Well, the scheme's different. They arrive at their place differently than we do.
That's correct.
So it's not this... Like, they couldn't install for us by playing NC State. There are times we play an opponent, and the next week's opponent...
We ran some 4-3 last week.
Yes, we did. We had... I believe somebody was in the wrong gap on that play.
I think so too. It's so tired.
There are times where we play an opponent, you're like, oh, what a great defense to warm up for, the big opponent. It's like,
right.
You can just run what you run. Isn't that wonderful? But this was not the case for Miami. Very different things.
Yeah, very different things. Again, when we talk about what these two teams are and what Florida State is and is not, there are areas where if we're just talking about total plays per game, you start that. They average 66 plays a game. We average 65. So the same pace. We are, in terms of total EPA on offense, a top 15 offense. We are number 14. They are number 65. If you go EPA per play, we're also top 15. We're number 14. They're number 63. If you go success rate, they are the 49th rated offense in the country. We are the 29th rated offense in the country. If you, again, I guess we should make this a solving the future, my friend. I mean, you can kind of get in here and talk about the nuts and bolts of what the teams are with our friends at ISF. And, I think we can spin this into exactly what we want it to be, buddy, because I said earlier in the show when we were talking about, kind of solving for the future, I thought this was a third down game. I thought this was a game, and I think some of these numbers play out that way. It kind of show you that Florida State can easily get behind the chains against Miami because their front's good.
Yeah, I think this is a chicken game before the snap, too. Miami doesn't like to show what they're doing until late, and Jordan will wait until there's 5 seconds to go to actually snap the ball. And we'll do 3, false
clappity claps.
Yeah, so you could see if there's any kind of tell.
Man, I feel so bad for our offensive linemen watching that every week. I mean, that's hard to do, to ask them to sit in a stance for, 25, 20. You just go on and on. The seconds are clicking off. You're like, that poor fat ass is having to sit in that stance.
And they don't ever take a rest either. There are some offenses where the linemen will stretch. Like, no, we stay locked in. We stay locked in.
It's tough.
So that's I think it's a throw on first down game.
Well, I've said this all year long.
More than typical, though. More than typical. Because
it's a neutral down. You should always throw on first down if you have an efficient passing game, and we do.
But if they want to play pressure, then it's just quick outlets. Like Joe just gave us another donation. Thank you very much, Joe, via the super sticker. But he's asking the question, is this a game where Jordan runs for 100 yards because he's gashed them the last couple of years? And the answer is with their pressures, it's more like you give him the option to, but if he's got a quick outlet, take the outlet. That's where he's got to be on the same page with his receivers. And it would help to have veteran receivers who you trust.
You got to trust who's out there.
If you think they're going to hitch, because there's pressure, they're going to see it and then they'll do it instead of a younger kid who might not know that, oh, Miami's bringing 6. I need to do this instead of what the play would call for.
Well, you've got to trust receivers in these option routes, and you've got to know that, they're seeing what you're seeing. it starts with the safety, but they got you got to know that they see what you see and be in the right spot. That's when you see, I tell my kids this sometimes, like we'll watch an NFL game and you'll see a quarterback make a throw. And when the camera pans, it's right to a defensive back and there's no offensive player in the picture. And my youngest son, because he's still learning the game and the sophistication of the game, will go, what the hell? Why would you throw that? I'm like, well, that a receiver either fell down or that's a miscommunication. There was a check with me that went wrong, or it's an option route and he read the wrong thing. Could be on the quarterback, could be on the receiver. I don't know. I'm not in their film room. I'm not in their install, but somebody did something that obviously that's a miscommunication.
If Miami plays it straight up, I like Tony's comment here because he says quick game out wide.
Yeah.
And the reason I like that is because a lot of times you say pressure, just throw a quick slant. Well, hang on now.
Yeah.
Miami will show you 6 or 7 at the line of scrimmage, and they'll drop 2, and they'll hunt for one.
Yeah, they'll hunt.
And they'll hunt for a quick.
I've seen them get to.
Oh man,
like just handed to them basically.
They missed one against May.
Yeah,
in the second half of that ball game.
Yeah.
So that would be the thing. Quick game out wide. This is why I think falling into the Ja'Kai thing last week it's good.
It gives you a third. It certainly gives you another option. I would much rather have a very healthy Destin Hill in that role, but
it's probably not going to be.
It probably isn't. He was limping all over the place last week.
You think about a couple of throws they made against Wake Forest, 2 and 3rd and short to Jaheim Bell. It's just a little out, whatever you want to call it, but it's blocked up. It's a screen because they're actively blocking down the field as he's catching the ball yard behind the line of scrimmage, but that's how we converted on a couple 3rd and shorts.
Yeah.
That's a player I'm sure you're much more in favor of giving the ball to in the quick game.
In the quick game, absolutely, I'm in favor of that.
That's an inside out instead of straight out wide. You can do that with the backs.
Yes, you can.
How the screen marries with the pressures, though, is interesting because that can blow up in your face with pressure.
It can. If you call it at the right time, it could also be an 80-yard touchdown.
It could.
see what Benson does.
I would imagine their game, though, with their safeties, like 20, the 6'5" kid.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's one hell of an athlete. But if you're going to take an angle maybe towards the back in that situation, it's just there's a lot of cat and mouse when we have the football. The hope is that the air is out of their sails because their offense is so bad that whatever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we do on defense because our offense sucks. That's what you're hoping for, that Miami kind of cancerous sideline thing that happens so often.
ISF is an IT and strategy firm. They have been for more than 40 years. They've been serving state government and business clients across the nation. They're experts in the government processes. They've worked with government agencies across the country. As I said, they've unmatched experience developing strategies, evaluating, refining processes. They can help you realize your dreams. They collaborate, worked in 18 states for state and local agencies, serving millions of citizens. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. And we'll continue to solve for the future right now because I think, Tom, getting back to the quick game, this is where having a healthy Johnny Wilson is absolutely a must if you're going to employ it, because that's a blocking fool and he's a massive individual and he takes pride in it. He's good at it. Keon's come to it. He does it as well. If Portier's healthy, he'll do it.
He's healthy enough to block right now.
Right.
And he did that a little bit last week, which we talked about. Watch where he lines up because that might be the quick game spot. He's not healthy enough clearly to be a downfield threat. But to block, yes. If you could get Hakeem back, I don't know if that's possible. But he's a hell of a blocker.
Well, he loves to block, and he's a big, strong kid. But I want him there because of his versatility. He's also – we were starting to go to Hakeem before the injury. If you just look at Hakeem's numbers, you're going to go, well, he hasn't really done much. I got it. But remember, this is a kid who's a true freshman, came into that camp in spring overweight, got here and obviously came back in the fall having lost the weight, looked good, but still has to get up to speed and was starting to do that. Obviously, we saw the electrifying touchdown run against an overmatched opponent, but it was still not about the opponent. It was about the speed, the stop-start, the wiggle, all of that at that size. But I thought the most important play for him is not that play. It was the third down conversion where we went to him on the right side over by the sideline. That was a huge play, and it showed a level of trust that he had gained from Jordan Travis. So
he felt the weight of that moment, the way he caught the ball, too.
Yeah,
you could tell he's like, oh, this is a big play.
It's kind of important, yeah. But he caught it. He's got giant hands, so you can overcome the fundamental mistake that he was making there. But I feel like he was on the cusp of taking off. The real bummer, for lack of a better term, the real bummer of the last 2 weeks not having a healthy receiving core isn't that you didn't have Keon last week, which wasn't ideal. isn't that you didn't have Johnny Wilson the last 2 weeks, isn't ideal. It's that you didn't have a healthy Hakeem or a healthy Destin, because those two individuals, I have a suspicion, would have lit it up. They would have been go-to guys. Hakeem certainly, I think, would have been. You didn't have a healthy Portier either. He would have gotten more reps. You didn't have it. Yes. I mean, it's so frustrating. You didn't have a healthy Deuce Spann. So think about that. These are guys that would have had chances to be primaries. They could have been guys that had, a focus on them, and they didn't get those reps. And so, as the other guys come back, you want those guys back, but now those guys are a little less in the spotlight. They don't get that opportunity.
The killer is with Deuce, if you want to talk about that one, because we've documented the other guys where there's an opportunity and you can't take advantage of it. But you can see how Deuce plays with so much more confidence across the board now since he returned that kick for a touchdown against Duke. And you can feel it in the way that he plays.
Yeah.
He's running with conviction. Well, I would love to have seen him get on the field as a wide receiver with that type of conviction, because it's contagious. We talk often about how in history of our program or in sports with football, if you are pressed into punt return work and you're bad at it, it can affect
everything else.
Yeah. Your bat, at the plate, if you're in a slump, affects your defense in baseball.
It can.
One thing can affect the other. Man, Deuce had confidence that was spilling over the top of the bucket. I would love to have seen what that would look like. Hopefully he's healthy, because that's another guy that can add a wrinkle, or if you're talking about dialing up gadgets, he's right there.
Also special teams. I mean, good Lord, you talk about how quickly they were becoming elite. Finally, they practiced at 87 hours a day. You thought eventually we'd see something there. And, Deuce was starting to make a huge difference in the kickoff return game.
You hold your breath when he crosses the 20 every time at this point.
Because he can go. Man. And Keon Coleman, obviously, is a difference maker once he decided, I'm going to be good at returning punts. I'm going to do this thing. Good for him. He suddenly, his confidence soared and he made plays. We clearly don't have anybody behind him who can do it. Nobody.
That's a travesty, too.
Well, it's annoying. But every time I watch it, I'm like, well, just get away from the ball because you're going to F this up, so just move. It's a terrible way to go out and be a punt returner.
Might as well just take the gunner's head off.
Just don't put anybody back there. Just block it up. Try to block it. It's ridiculous. ISF, thank you. We love partnering with you. You will too. Their expertise is going to help solve the future for you through strategy, process, technology. They collaborate, make it happen. Make sure you check them out. ISF.com. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3. Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Your local news now.
Tuesday, Charlie Adelson's defense attorney filed a motion asking a judge to interview the jurors who convicted Adelson of orchestrating the murder of FSU law professor Dan Markle. Attorney Daniel Rashbaum filed the motion less than a day after the jury convicted Adelson. In the motion, Rashbaum says he was contacted by one of 3 alternate jurors discharged before jury deliberations began. Rashbaum says that juror told him that several days before the conviction, one or more members of the jury asked all other jurors for their telephone numbers, after which some sort of group chat was established. Rashbaum said Adelson is entitled to a fair trial before an impartial jury. He asked that the jurors involved be interviewed to ensure the integrity of the jury's verdict in the case. Rashbaum says his team talked with counsel for the state about the interview request. In the motion, it says the state's counsel opposes the relief requested in the motion. A jury found Charles Adelson guilty on 3 counts in connection with the death of Florida State professor Dan Markle. This is Rachel Anae with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Mainly sunny this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 80. South winds around 5 miles per hour. Partly cloudy tonight, lows dip down to about 60. More clouds than sun tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 83. Chance for scattered rain showers Saturday and Sunday, 81 Saturday, 70 Sunday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 78.
The Challenger Learning Center presents Impact Week 2023, November 13th through the 17th. Experience a week-long of free events and join in on Domi's Pitch Event, a chance for area entrepreneurs to pitch their business for a chance to win $22,000 in cash and in-kind prizes. Experience our community's dynamic energy firsthand. To learn more about the event, see a list of topics and talks, and to register for free, go to impactweek.info.
So everybody knows, Eddie, that you are a spectacular cook. Of course they know that. If they go into Bumpa's, the food is always good. I mean, everything on the menu.
Mm-hmm.
Everything at Gordo's is delicious. I always, of course, get the Bungalow Chungla, as I call it.
The Bungalow Chung, Jeff?
Is that, what is the pork?
The Bungalow Chung, Jeff.
Okay, the Bungalow Chungla. It's delicious. All these things, all the items, everything you do, a master cook. But, sir, I would ask you, what is a skill that you possess that you're particularly proud of that nobody would know and that you could share with us here?
Growing hair, Jeff. Growing hair.
You're an asshole. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
FSU has faced this year? No. They are not. I think LSU's offensive line is better than Miami's offensive line. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, probably. I think this offensive line is solid, but their pass protection is a problem.
That's why I denigrate them a little bit, because they've had a hard time with that.
Although LSU didn't block up the run well at all in week 1. At all. We stopped the traditional run.
We also played probably our best game against the traditional run that we've played this year against them.
Yeah.
I mean, we bottled that up and said, get you some.
Yeah, there was some serious passion on the field that night.
Yeah. So, I mean,
well, Fisk owned. I mean, so the first quarter of that game, they realized we've got a double 55. And then it went elsewhere. Peyton made some plays. So they chipped Jared. They doubled Braden. And then Peyton made some plays on his own. Although Braden played really, really well for having just 1 tackle for loss / 1 sack last week. He was a force at Pitt.
Yeah, and you saw it. You saw the way that they had to deal with him. He was forever crashing the party.
He was,
Yeah, he was really good. He's been good all year.
That's a great matchup, though. Our interior against Cohen, the left guard from Alabama. That's a great matchup.
Well,
to
that
watch
kid's
this
a
weekend.
stud.
Yeah.
The defensive line's got a lot of responsibility moving forward because Florida has a huge offensive line too. I'm not saying it's great, but it's not bad, and they're big. So this defensive line's got a lot of responsibility because we're a little kind of boom or bust on offense. So there's stretches where you're not doing anything, and you got to get stops so that you don't get buried. And they also got to get the ball back to us so we can get into that rhythm that you see Mike get into at least once a game.
The thing I see a lot from our defensive interior that makes me smile is pursuit of plays that are well down the field. You see Farmer 44, Fisk 55 all the time in your picture.
Yeah, because they play hard. They play hard for this coaching staff. They play hard for one another. I feel like
it could be 15 yards downfield, and it's like a play where we miss several tackles, and they're rallying, and they might not make the play, but you're saying that's what you do. Especially if you're going to rotate this much.
Oh, you better run your ass off.
It's
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. We rotate well beyond what we should. It drives me nuts, but what am I going to do? I mean, they're making plays, and they
could serve you against an offensive line like this in the second half.
They could absolutely do that.
And you play 9 in a row post-bye. That's part of it.
I don't know the answer to this question, so I'm going to ask you.
Oh,
Do you think? Well, first of all, what do we think the offensive line looks like this week?
Oh God.
So I'm going to guess Maurice Smith center.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bless Harris is going to play and play well, and so I'm apt to put him at left tackle because I think Byers will be your right tackle. Don't look now, but one of the things that stood out when I went back and reviewed Florida State's offense, because there were certain things I wanted to look at that we ran against Pitt, and I've got to tell you, Byers had a good game.
Oh, all right.
I'd kind of give it
in what facet?
He was physical, and and that will serve him well against Miami because that's physical. Like that's the one thing he can be. He's a dense, big.
Though he's.
Oh no, Bane's going to beat whoever we have out there. But I'm saying, I mean, you're going to have to help him. You're going to have to chip.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, the one thing I think that Jeremiah Byers can do is be physical.
Why he should be the interior. But yeah. You don't have enough tackles, I guess.
Also, we can say that, but at no point has he been in the interior. So they clearly aren't ever going to put him there.
Maybe next year he's got another year. So in camp, this was my theory. I had him in the top 10, maybe top 6.
We all thought he was going to be a vital. Well, he's been important. I mean, he plays.
But I thought he was going to be our best offensive lineman because he's so athletic and it profiles perfectly for what we want to do in the interior.
Yeah.
Then again, you watch him pull with counter, and it's not a pretty thing.
It's not.
No, and it's crazy for somebody who's that athletic. But there was one rep when they were going one-on-one pass rush drills in camp, and the statute of limitations has to be gone because he's not playing guard. So he was about to line up at guard. Like
and you got your hopes up.
I was like, oh, there we go. Here it is.
Let's
They're
go.
switching because it was about the week before LSU. I'm like, it's Jazz turn of time again. Here we go. And then somebody tapped him on the shoulder. Might have been like Kayshawn Sapp or somebody back up. They tapped him on the shoulder. He came out and he goes, damn. And I said the same. I was like, I agree with you, Jeremiah. Damn. I just want to see it. But it never happened.
So of all the newcomers, of all the guys that we brought in, either as freshmen, true recruits, or as transfer portal guys, so that would be Hakeem Williams, that would be Destin Hill, that would be Keon Coleman, obviously. It'd be the tight ends, not named Marquiston. And it would be the offensive lineman in the form of Jeremiah Byers, in the form of Casey Roddick, Keandre Jones.
Keandre is good in a spell each game. There are moments. When it's straight ahead, that's good stuff.
He's better than Casey Roddick.
I wonder what they're going to do at left guard this game. Casey got pulled for Duke.
I would start Keandre Jones if I had to.
You play him at right, played Meach at left, and rotate in Darius at left.
Meach has had a tough go, man.
You could air it out with Darius this weekend.
I love Darius. He's the most improved offensive lineman we have. He needs to play. If he played last week. He needs to play. He's got to be a starter. He's a starter.
I think he would be in the playoff. Put it that way.
Well,
you're not worried about. I mean, I think you're playing a long game here.
But I would do it here. That's a good defensive front. Yeah. I would do it here. So this has got to be Maurice Smith. They'll probably start Casey, but I think he gets pulled. Meach will be the other guard. He hasn't been good.
That's always a committee on the right side, though.
But Bless, I think you can do Bless and Myers as your two tackles. Byers, as your two tackles. And I know somebody's going to say, what about Robert Scott? Well, man, I don't know. He's ever – you know I'm at my wit's end about this. He plays, but he gets hurt, and then he's out, and he's –
That's why when you asked the question, I didn't say his name.
Yeah, I can't do it.
I was trying to
keep you. You might as well – at this point, I feel like you should just sit him. What's the point of playing him 20 plays? Why?
The handle's not a runway to take off from, man. That's why I was trying to stay away from it. I was just
anyhow.
Like the domestic abuser Mayweather. Just keep you at a distance. He could be 20 to 30 snaps this weekend.
What's the point of that?
Because he's not bad for those 20 to 30 snaps.
It's not getting better. It's whatever they're trying to do is not working. At some point, he's got to play 50, 60 snaps. He's got to be able to play. They're like, oh, go out there and run 15. What? Anyhow.
That's how we piece it together, baby.
I don't want to piece it together anymore. Let's go.
We run 60 plays a game. That's a quarter of the game.
Oh, man. Gilbert Edmond, Braden Fisk, Ventrell Cypress, all the newcomers. I'm adding all the newcomers here.
Yeah.
Would we say that Braden Fisk has had, other than Keon Coleman, obviously, had the biggest impact?
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that was the question. Outside of Keon Coleman.
Yeah, Keon's the obvious answer. I mean, we couldn't even ask this question if you're just saying name one. Well, we're done here. Keon Coleman is the answer.
Yeah, it's probably Braden.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, we don't think about it, but it probably is, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Jaheim Bell's up there, but I think because Jaheim hasn't been a target and yardage machine, you might want to go with Braden. Yeah.
Jaheim's interesting, man. He's not a real tight end. You know, he's He's a slot receiver in a way.
It's modern offensive tight end. I mean,
H-back sort of.
He's okay at blocking. Yeah,
he's okay at blocking.
I think
he's okay.
Another guy who's dinged for a while.
I know. I agree with you. But what I'm saying is he's kind of a Swiss Army knife kind of guy. He's not really a true tight end.
No, he's probably more of an H-back.
I mean, Morlock and Biscuit are more tight end than he is. Morlock is a pretty good block. He's got a lot better blocking, a lot better at blocking. And that's good because that's going to make him money in the NFL because he's got to get better at it. He's a very good receiver. We already know that.
I'm glad Biscuit got off the schneid with the unbalanced score last week.
I'm happy for Biscuit. Biscuit's been a real good player for us for some time.
Had a great camp.
He did have a great camp.
They're like,
well, you know what they see.
They go, I don't believe you. Going with Morlock.
Here's the deal. They know that long-term as a passing weapon, Morlock is the better option, and they wanted to get him up to speed because they knew they only had him 2 years. They had him this year and next, and that's it. And so they knew, all right, if it's even, we're taking him. If it's slightly more Biscuit, we're taking Morlock.
And it was. I would contend.
But Morlock, is a much greater threat down the field. And so
for sure.
Yeah. So I mean they wanted an extra. No, it's not Cypress, Jamie. I said him. It's not him. He's been butt ass average.
Been okay.
That's what I said.
I feel like that's better than butt ass average.
He's butt ass average. And he's okay. Same thing.
You complain about him every once in a while, but you're not like, what a liability this guy is
No,
when we line up.
He's not killing us. He's not a difference maker. He's just what he is. Good work out of you, sir. Good work, Director Matthew. Be well, everybody. Have a great rest of your night. Back tomorrow for Libations Friday. Peace.